Why aren't we focusing on the health of African American women? Because for years we did not care about the health of African American women. We didn't care about the health of African Americans, period.
Black women are more likely to die from preventable, treatable conditions.
Y'all were gonna let me leave. No one cared. No one cared. Had I left there, I wouldn't be able to sit here and tell my story.
Black women are more likely to be diagnosed with cancer at a late stage.
Why do you think it took you an entire year to finally get diagnosed?
What's behind these deadly outcomes?
Disparities are a real thing, and they occur as a result of divisions or barriers that exist within the healthcare system.
It's time we share the untold truth.
Welcome into this First Coast News special report. I'm Keitha Nelson. We are highlighting some disturbing facts concerning the health of Black women who are more likely to be diagnosed with breast, lung, and colorectal cancer at a late stage. You're about to meet Jessica Florence. Thousands of people watched her journey on social media. She is among the staggering number of Black women diagnosed with breast cancer at a late stage.
Thank you for sharing with us all the happiness and good times.
Hey guys, we're live from Mayo Clinic. This is my last day of radiation, thank God. I am done. This is my third time. I'm not doing this again.
She'd go on to do it again.
This is my last, hopefully my last surgery.
For 8 years, Jessica Florence battled a disease that traveled throughout her body.
I just want to cry because I'm losing so much confidence in myself.
Diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer in 2015 at just 22 years old.
I'm super tired. I have no energy. Yesterday, I felt like I could run a marathon. But today, I definitely feel like I can fly. As much as I want to cry right now, I can't.
She'd overcome it.
4 more radiation treatments.
But the disease would later return not only as stage 4 metastatic breast cancer.
I have had a headache for more than a year.
But as cancer on the brain.
I knew something wasn't right. I went to the emergency room January 2nd, of 2020.
Jessica endured brain surgery and documented her journey on social media.
So it's been a minute since I vlogged.
As cancer consumed her life. Still, she managed to graduate from college that year.
But I'm physically still going through it, and mentally now.
Cancer returned to her spine this time in 2022. Chemotherapy, radiation, a vicious cycle. Family kept her going, support from near and far.
Oh my God, I love you, I love you, I love you.
I love you too.
Jessica entered hospice care in August of 2023. 12 days later, she died.
It's hard, it's really hard.
She knew that she was nearing the end.
This room, Jessica's room, still intact. A space where you'll find her loved ones reflecting on their tiny framed, mighty warrior.
And they all told me, you're too young to have breast cancer.
Misinformation, a far too common occurrence, according to Jessica's dad, Derek Florence.
The second physician here in Jacksonville told Jessica, hey, it looks like you have fibroids or whatever the case may be, but, the way that they were progressing and growing, it was a kind of a aggressive situation, and Jessica's like, this thing is growing bigger.
According to the American Cancer Society, Black women under the age of 50 are less likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer, but twice as likely to die from the disease.
So the cancer was so aggressive When she finally got diagnosed, that was at stage 3A. I feel like if it was caught earlier, that she would have had more life because she wouldn't have had to have been treated so aggressively.
Black women are 41% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women. Researchers are working to pinpoint exactly why.
All of this could have been prevented if you just listen.
Jessica's voice was heard by the thousands of followers who intently viewed her documented fight.
Yeah, guys, my hair is still falling out.
But she accepted this as a badge of honor.
If we go down, then we'll go down together.
I mean, that was her mindset at the end.
Then we'll go down together. If we go down, then we'll go down together. If we go down.
Experiences such as Jessica's have prompted a massive study by the American Cancer Society. It's called Voices of Black Women. You're about to hear from its lead researchers and 4 women sharing their reasons for joining the movement.
I've had over maybe about 3 clients that passed from cancer within the last 10 years.
A Bliss Styling Studio served as a safe space for these Black women to share their reasons, why they've decided to join the Voices movement.
All you can do is just cry. Like, how can I have been a part of a solution that helped save her?
Cynthia Meadows recently signed up for the Voices of Black Women research study being conducted by the American Cancer Society. At its helm, lead researchers Alpa Patel and Lauren McCullough.
There are certain things that we definitely know, like healthcare access is obviously important, and the Black population generally has poor access because of things like where they live, transportation, insurance, etc. We also know that they are diagnosed with more aggressive types of disease, which are going to lead to poorer outcomes naturally. And so that's something still as a research community we're trying to better understand.
For me recently, actually, I went to the ER and I was feeling pain, and it felt like everyone that came in before the doctor was just chalking it up to an anxiety attack. But I really was in pain and there was something wrong. So the doctor listened, but everyone else didn't. And that wasn't the first time that has happened.
There's a ton of data that shows that Black women are often dismissed in healthcare settings, that their pain is typically ignored, and really being able to provide the evidence that exists and being able to provide ways and interventions to help mitigate that in our healthcare system is one of the goals of this study.
McCullough and Patel explained disparities in health outcomes are not limited to healthcare access.
Certain types of personal care products, chemical hair straighteners as one example, may put you at higher risk for certain types of cancer. But again, when you think about the way science and evidence is built, you need to have really robust data and evidence to be able to affect change, and we don't have that yet.
Any of you use chemical hair straighteners? Anyone?
Yes.
I used to, yeah.
I stopped back in December.
Because?
Because my hair was falling out.
Sorry to say, clients now have to be educated because stylists now are doing it for the money, and you don't know.
The Food and Drug Administration proposed a ban on formaldehyde and formaldehyde-releasing chemicals in hair straighteners and relaxers in October of 2023. It was initially scheduled to take effect in April of 2024, but the FDA has since delayed implementing the ban and have not yet provided a new date, stating the rulemaking process takes time.
Products that are marketed towards Black women have those certain chemicals in it. And so now it actually has me thinking, I need to read the ingredients on everything.
The Centers for Disease Control has recognized racism as the root cause of many health disparities. In April of 2021, the CDC declared racism a serious public health threat.
I don't think I fully understood the structural underpinnings of health outcomes for Black women until I found myself in that particular situation, where I wasn't given the care that I needed or deserved, despite being highly educated, despite having insurance, despite having access, simply because I was a brown face in a white system.
Doctors Patel and McCullough have dubbed this first of its kind Voices study a movement that uplifts the voices of Black women everywhere.
I would say what I would want people to know is take ownership in your health, journal your health, because if you don't take that ownership, no one else will.
Just ahead, a dark history of abuse. Why are Black women less likely to join research and clinical trials that could save lives? You're watching The Untold Truth. Welcome back. You're watching The Untold Truth. I'm Keitha Nelson. Black women have the highest death rate and the shortest survival rate of any racial or ethnic group within the U.S. for most cancers. Factors contributing to that fact include economic, geographic, lifestyle, and history also plays a part. A window into the past. His purpose, sharing preserved history. Flagler College professor Michael Butler reveals dark truths of stolen consent.
The mistrust of the formal medical establishment has its roots in scientific racism that stretches all the way back to the period of enslavement.
Figures glorified in history for their contributions to medical advancement. Marion Sims, the father of American gynecology.
As a plantation physician in Montgomery, Alabama, he basically had free reign over, we know of at least 13 enslaved girls and women whom he conducted gynecological experiments on.
Medical tests without anesthesia on purchased women.
There is a very valid mistrust of the healthcare system, especially for people of color and women of color in particular.
Working to achieve health equity, family doctor Kelly Tice knows well the cost of past wrongs that have yet to be fully made right.
Black women being used to advance science without having the benefit of developments that have been created as a result of it.
Henrietta lacks her cancer cells, the source of the HeLa cell line, while seeking care for cervical cancer at Johns Hopkins University.
Cells were removed from her cervix that she thought were being used for treatment, but were actually being harvested for medical experimentation purposes.
Her cells played a huge role in medical advancements, the polio vaccine, IVF and AIDS treatments, cloning.
This occurred in 1951. So this is relatively recent in our immediate past. We're 2 generations removed from a black woman going into a hospital with the reputation of Johns Hopkins for treatment related to cancer and having her symptoms kind of ignored and her long-term health ignored for the purpose of testing her cells.
That's not an isolated event in our history.
Dr. Lauren McCullough with the American Cancer Society is helping to lead a research study called Voices of Black Women. For her, the data collected isn't just science, it's personal, as she aims to figure out why women like herself, Black women, are dying at an incredibly high rate of cancer.
Because we know how much value we have in contributing to the healthcare system. We just want to make sure that that value gets back to the community.
No drugs, no interventions.
And what we are simply asking you to do is to report your day-to-day experiences and your history. It's what we call an observational study because we are just observing a large group of women and trying to better understand how that impacts risk of cancer and other health-related conditions.
When people say, why are we focusing on African American health? Why are we focusing on the health of African American women? Because for years we did not care about the health of African American women. We didn't care about the health of African Americans, period.
Black women are not more likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer, but they're 41% more likely to die from it. Health equity experts such as Dr. Kelly Tice are working to close deadly gaps within the healthcare system.
We have for years, Black women, been underrepresented when it comes to not just care, but treatment, identification, cure. We've been excluded from all of the things that give us the ability to survive cancer.
What can we do for ourselves? What can Black women do right now, whether it be advocating for ourselves, for others? Your thoughts?
Continue to ask questions, advocate for yourself in terms of selection of physician, getting your questions answered in clinical settings, understanding how you might need to shift or change to live a healthy lifestyle, and then look for someone or something that facilitates and supports that for you.
It will take for me to die before someone listens to what I'm saying.
We're delving into barriers standing in the way of a fair shot at preventing, finding, treating, and surviving cancer. You're watching The Untold Truth. Healthcare barriers come in different forms. People in a lower socioeconomic bracket say they are treated differently in many settings, including while seeking care. Health equity experts attest it's a disturbing fact. Meet Von Seal Bradford. Raised in West Jacksonville, Von Seal Bradford is the product of Moncrief Elementary, Paxton Middle, Raines High School,
Dr. Von Seal Priscilla Bradford,
and Florida A&M University.
I'm the first doctor in my family, the first one to go to a university. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to prove statistics wrong.
She had her first child at the age of 16 and her second while in her senior year at Raines.
I don't regret my children. They gave me a level of motivation. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was on a mission.
Cancer. She's faced adversity before, but a lump discovered while in pharmacy school at FAMU at the age of 29 led to the biggest fight of her life.
I remember coming home roughly a month later, and I brought it to my doctor's attention.
Bradford says she was told to monitor that lump, and within months it grew to the size of a golf ball.
There was this particular day I woke up and I was in pain, and I remember having discharge coming from my breast, and I went to a hospital in Tallahassee, Florida.
She recalls being told it may be a cyst. No scans. Once again, Bradford says she was advised to monitor the lump.
For me, I had that level of trust that this is the doctor. She must be 100% aware of the information she's providing. She's seen this multiple times.
Months later,
the complications are more severe. I'm constantly in the ER every week. I'm just complaining about the same issues. The pain, the discharge.
Feeling dismissed, she called her doctor at home and insisted that scans needed to be done. On the other end of a nearly 3-hour drive to Jacksonville, yet another hurdle stood in Bradford's way.
I was informed that they were not going to do the mammogram because of my age. The doctor said that she didn't want to introduce me to unnecessary radiation.
Bradford recalls being unable to hold back her tears. She'd lose her composure to save her life.
I was at the front desk and I said, it will take for me to die before someone listens to what I'm saying. This has been going on almost a year. I mean, I discovered this in spring, maybe all of March of 2019. Here we are in November. I'm like, I know something is going on with my body.
The hospital agreed to do an ultrasound. There are key moments that vividly replay in Bradford's mind, including the technician's reaction while scanning her breast.
I remember her rushing to try to hang the monitor up and then get out the room. And in that moment, I knew it wasn't a cyst. I can hear the conversations on the outside of the room. And I remember walking out the door and the hallway became silent. And I just remember saying, y'all were gonna let me leave. No one cared. No one cared. And the only thing I could think about is that I discovered this when I was 29, and here I am 30.
Why do you think it took you an entire year to finally get diagnosed?
I think my age played a factor. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was in that socioeconomic class of the voices that are shut off, dismissed. I was that Medicaid patient.
There are costs that are involved in evaluating someone for a cancer. And so often those decisions are made based on what we think the risk is. So we don't order the test that might be more expensive.
25 years in the medical field, Dr. Kelly Ty says she's witnessed one too many disparities within the healthcare system.
So I think physicians tend to err on the side of reassuring you rather than, and this is the question we should ask for ourselves, how can you assure me that what I'm experiencing isn't something that could be catastrophic? That's the answer. Don't reassure me that it's nothing. Reassure me that it's not something I should be worried about.
When finally diagnosed, cancer was found in her right and left breasts. Bradford would end up removing them both. Unimaginable at just 30 years old, yes, but she's still here. She had support throughout her battle, friends also involved in the fight.
Me and Jessica had a group chat, and we called the Sisters That Will Survive. I have it in my phone, and it was me, her, and a young lady named Stephanie.
Is Stephanie still here?
Stephanie's not here.
You're the only one?
I'm the only one.
Vonseal mentioned to me that her father wasn't in her life, so she didn't know at the time of diagnosis that breast cancer does run in her family. That's a conversation she encourages us all to have with our loved ones. To learn what you can do to save the lives of future generations of Black women, scan this QR code right now on your screen. Thank you for watching The Untold Truth. I'm Keitha Nelson.